Whenever I travel, the most exciting part of it is to eat the food. And so you know that I had to keep a food diary when I went to Maui recently. I documented everything, so I'm going to share with you the good food, the bad food, and everything in between. So today, I'm going to show you everything I ate in Maui, Hawaii. So the first thing I did after I landed was get my rental car and go to my hotel. My hotel was located in the Napili area and I had to stay in the Lahaina area in order to go to a wedding. So a lot of the food that I ate is gonna be in this area. I highly recommend to go to the road to Hana side of the island if you have a car and you have the free time to do so. It's much more of an adventurous vibe compared to the other side. But my trip was mainly just for the wedding, so I didn't have a chance to get to that other side of the island. Hence, I don't know what the food is like, but I assume it would be just as good. So I checked into my hotel and had a lot of free time for the rest of the day, so I decided to drive up Highway 30. Highway 30 and Highway 340 basically connect Kahului, which is where the airport's at, to Lahaina, and it makes a big loop. What I didn't know is Highway 340 is a pretty insane drive because most of it is just on mountaintops and it's only one way, so if another car is coming at you, you gotta scoot into the cliff or you're gonna fall off. But I really wanted to explore off the beaten path and go check out a restaurant up in the middle of the mountains, which was called Bradachik. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, you can correct me in the comments. This is a lunch shop that I found on Google Maps and I really wanted to try it, but when I got there, it was closed for renovation. If you have more luck than me, then maybe you'll be going at a time when it's actually open. But even if it's not under renovation, it has pretty weird hours, so you have to catch it at the opportune time. Nevertheless, highly recommend going that direction just because there's some really beautiful spots to take pictures, as you can see here. So yeah, first spot was basically a fail. I still recommend, if you have the chance to, just go and check it out to see if it is open. It does look pretty promising. But after seemingly 3 or 4 hours of trying to navigate Highway 340, I ended up back in Kahului and wanted to get food because I was freaking starving. So I ended up trying Tin Roof, which is like a Hawaiian Asian fusion place. The special was a kimchi pork belly bento kind of thing and I was really into it. Also, I was starving, so I gobbled that shit up. But this is what I had to say about it in the moment. So I haven't eaten all day, so you bet I'm gonna be a loser and eat in the car. Let's try it. This is the kimchi pork at Tin Roof Cafe. So this one's pork shoulder. That's good. They had an ahi tuna local mocha that I really wanted to try, but it was sold out, so pretty freaking solid. So then I needed to make the trip down Highway 30 once again to get back to the Lahaina area. And something that you can find on Highway 30 is a pie shop. It's called Leota's Kitchen and Pie Shop. You can't miss it, it's right off of the highway. You'll notice it because it's in the middle of the tunnel of monkey pot trees. But they're famously known for their banana cream pie, and I also tried their guava pie as well. I ended up taking it to go because it was already getting late, but you can see what I thought about it here. First bite, pie for breakfast. Dog barking. Beautiful view. Hello, Hawaii. I'm not a huge cream pie fan, but I got this because it was recommended by the cashier. Honestly, for a cream pie, pretty solid. Now for the guava. Going to be kind of sad if the guava is a disappointment because guava is like one of my favorite fruits. The crust is really hard, but I'm very into the filling. It's almost like a cake in a pie because the filling is very cake-like. It's basically cake. Guava cake, super solid. Pie crust, I don't really need it. I do have to say the guava was much more of a disappointment compared to the banana cream, so highly recommend that you get the banana cream. Guava is still okay, but you know. So fun fact about me, I don't really eat breakfast, so I wasn't really preparing to get anything for breakfast. But with the time change and the sun just rising so early, it kind of threw me off and I was getting hungry in the morning. I wanted to have something simple for breakfast, so I ended up going to the Napili Market, which is a grocery store in the close vicinity. And this is probably one of the only grocery stores that's kind of in that area. There's just a strip mall with some restaurants, coffee shops, and this market. So if you do stay in that area, this is probably your best bet for any grocery needs. We'll say it's a little more on the expensive side, but what's not in Hawaii? Something that I wish they had here in California was more convenience store food, and they always have musubis and other hot foods just laid out and prepared. So I had a simple chicken teriyaki musubi and some juice to start the day. I mean simple, but still giving it 5 out of 5 stars because just it's so good. For lunch, I decided to try somewhere different, so I went to the fish market. This place is kind of a Mexican fusion, but also has a place where you can just get regular poke. But I decided to try the fish tacos at the time just because I was feeling that a little bit more. The hard thing about getting Mexican food or Mexican fusion food in anywhere besides California and in Mexico is that it's probably just not gonna be as good. I would say I'm spoiled and I know what good Mexican food is like, so this did not hit the spot. It was a little too bland, but the fish was cooked well, and that's the most important part. In a perfect world, I would have also wanted beans and rice and guacamole and a bunch of other fixings, but this just came with a little bit of salsa, which was pretty not so flavorful as well. But I also got this strawberry guava tapioca from Stacy's Garden, and it was also at this restaurant as well. That I do not regret one bit, just because it was very refreshing, very cooling as well on a hot day, and it's usually hot in Hawaii. But my official review of that went like this. I couldn't help myself. I know I've been eating a lot of dessert already, but this just looked bomb. Stacy's Garden strawberry and guava tapioca. And the packaging's so nice too. I don't have a spoon, so I have to reuse this fork. That smells so good. The strawberry is subtle, but the guava, usually guava is the more subtle of all the fruits. Good though. So refreshing when it's hot like this too. Now at this point of my trip, I was thinking, why haven't I had poke yet? Like, Hawaii is known for poke. What the fuck am I doing not getting it? I don't know. Maybe I just didn't really know where to go, but luckily a friend advised me on a place that she went to when she was exploring Maui as well. It's called Tamuda's. And initially I thought it was a little bit sketchy per se, just because it was supposed to be a bevmo in essence, somewhere where they just serve alcohol. And it's a chain, but the specific one I went to was in more of a warehouse area, so it was a little confusing. But lo and behold, you walk into all these bottles of alcohol and then a whole little fish market right on the side. And I do have to say, 100% worth it. Now, I'm more of a salmon boy than a tuna boy, but I had to get both. I feel like tuna is more popular when it comes down to poke, but overall, I feel like I like the texture of salmon a little bit better, and neither of them disappointed. Itadakimasu. Nice and sweet. Ooh, with a kick, with the spice. A little bit like the sweet and sour sauce that you eat with lumpias, but lighter than that. Wow. The garlic really tenderizes the meat, and tuna usually has a little bit more texture, I feel like. This is so smooth, so melt in your mouth. I'm a little bit more of a salmon person than I am a tuna person, but I do have to say, the umami for the tuna, pretty amazing to be honest. I mean, both of them are amazingly good. I mean, of course, it's Hawaii poke, right? This one's very salty, and this one's very sweet. So together, it makes a really good combination. I just wish I had like green tea, like an iced tea. I feel like you see a lot more tuna than you do salmon, but the salmon's so good. I'm just gonna take my time and enjoy this. And then the wedding festivities happened. So there was a pre-wedding dinner in Lahaina at Leilani's on the beach. And I do have to say, that was probably maybe the highlight of everything I ate. I would say this is more all-American food and a little bit more of a fancy dinner of sorts, since the dinner included a bunch of appetizers, a nice salad, a filet mignon, and a hula pie, which was the first hula pie I've ever had. If you don't know what hula pie is, it's macadamia nut ice cream with a chocolate crust and a chocolate drizzle as well, and freaking huge too, so you're gonna get a good portion size. The best thing about this restaurant though were the drinks, and I don't think I have any clips of that, but we went hard on the drinks, and all the cocktails were pretty freaking bomb. The bummer is it's more in the fancy area of Lahaina in a nice shopping mall area, and you do have to pay for parking. It does get a little crowded in that area too because it's much more resort-like, but the vibes were immaculate and I had a pretty great time. Plus, I was surrounded by friends too, so what beats that? The next day was all about the wedding, so I'll include some clips of the food, but I think it's a little more fruitful to talk about the independent restaurants and some of the areas that you wouldn't necessarily go to if you just stayed in the hotel and ate at all the hotel restaurants. And then after the wedding, just like that, my trip was almost over and I was heading to my next destination. But I did want to stop at a cafe to get something to eat before my flight. I went to Island Vintage Coffee from a recommendation in order to get their Kona freeze as well as a acai bowl. Now, I'm a coffee person, but didn't really have that much coffee on the trip, so this was my first kind of introduction to Kona coffee. I thought it was pretty good. I feel like the acai bowl with coffee, the flavors didn't necessarily match because it was much more fruity. Kind of overpowers each other a little bit, so I would recommend getting one or the other. But this acai bowl was filled with lilikoi, which is passion fruit. Didn't necessarily know that for some reason, but now I just call it lilikoi now. And that 100% was worth it. And honestly, that's the end of Maui. It kind of doesn't look like I ate a whole lot, but a lot of it was because I was on different time crunches, and if you stay in the Lahaina side, a lot of things are kind of far away from each other. I did try to do as much exploring as I could with the time allotted, but next time I do really want to hit the other side of the island. Also note that things close earlier than expected usually, so if you want to hit some of the smaller restaurants and some of the places kind of not necessarily on the beaten path, you're gonna need to make a little bit more of an effort because they're only open for lunch or close around like 4 or 5. If you stay in the resort area, things are open later, so you're always going to be able to get that midnight snack, but you also might be paying an extra pretty penny for that. The next island I went to was the Big Island, and I stayed in Hilo. And don't worry, I have an everything I ate in Hilo video coming very soon, so stay tuned for that. And if you like content like this, make sure to give the video a like. Also make sure to subscribe and let me know what other kind of things you want to see from me. Goal for the channel right now is 2K subs, so we're slowly but surely getting there, and I'll start ramping up the videos more too. But that's all I have for this one, and I'll see you next time. Peace.